You can talk to me, Brendan. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. You can hear me. You can't talk to me either, You don't need to. I don't need to hear you. Thanks, mate. Good afternoon and welcome along to David Farrington Park for the start of the final weekend of round robin action in the ISPS Handa Men's Premiership. Team Wellington against Hamilton Wanderers in what is basically a playoff for semi-final home advantage. These two sides are guaranteed to meet again next weekend in a semi-final. Where that game is played depends entirely on what happens here today. If Hamilton Wanderers win the game, they'll host Team Wellington in that semi-final next weekend. If Team Wellington win or it's a draw, these two will be back here at David Farrington Park next weekend playing for a place in the grand final. That's how it all plays out today. Beautiful day in the nation's capital. Hard to imagine a better day for football as the two teams make their way out onto David Farrington Park. Team Wellington in the dark strip, our visitors Hamilton Wanderers all in white today. A good scattering of fans have arrived for an early-ish kick-off here in the capital, but a game we're very much looking forward to bringing to you on Sky Sport Next. Check on the team news in a moment for you. A couple of changes, in fact a number of changes to the Hamilton Wanderers side, a couple to Team Wellington. We'll bring those team lists to you shortly. Here's the Team Wellington side. Two changes to the 11 that beat Canterbury United 2-0 last Saturday. Taylor Shrivers is suspended, so he sits out. And Mario Barcia also not included in the matchday squad today to avoid the possibility of a yellow card, which would see him suspended for next week. In come Ben Mata and Juan Gutkek. Max Batchelor comes onto the bench for the first time after his return from Cyprus. Our visitors today are Hamilton Wanderers. 4 changes to the side that drew 1-1 with Eastern Suburbs a week ago. Dylan Morris sent off in that game. He misses out through suspension. Owen Comber, Xavier Pratt and Jordan Lamb are all injured and haven't travelled. In come Mark Jones, Liam Fellows for his first start of the season. Same with Lewis Reed, his first start. And Josh Clarkin, a first appearance, a debut for Hamilton Wanderers today for Josh Clarkin, wearing 18 for our visitors. Matt Conger in charge today with Mark Rule and Sean Lau, his assistant referees. Our fourth official is Sean Riley. As I say, conditions are nigh on perfect here in Wellington. And just repeating that the result of today's game will determine where the semi-final between these two is played next weekend. A win for Hamilton Wanderers, and they know that they can host Team Wellington at Porritt Stadium next weekend. A win for Team Wellington or a draw, and we're back on this patch of grass next weekend for a semi-final. Auckland City already confirmed to host a semi-final next weekend, and there's any number of combinations as to what might play out in terms of their opponent. Eastern Suburbs, Waitakere United and Canterbury United all still in with a chance, depending on results across the weekend, to play Auckland City in that other semi. So it's a mouth-watering final round of round-robin action in the ISPS Handa Men's Premiership, the final weekend of this competition as we know it. And a really mouth-watering clash about to play out in front of us. Hamilton Wanderers in the white strip kicking from right to left as we look on our screens. That is from south to north here in Wellington. Team Wellington defending their clubroom's end and heading back towards the southern end of David Farrington Park. We're underway here. Final regular season game for these two. They played out a 1-1 draw back in round 7. Mario Barcia not playing today, and Derek Tiku on the score sheet that day. And a early protest and a talking to for Jake Williams inside the first 30 seconds or so here. Matt Conga decides that the talking to is enough, but has awarded a free kick in the favour of Hamilton Wanderers. Half a dozen games since these teams last met. Team Wellington 3 wins, 2 losses and a draw in that time. Hamilton Wanderers have a win, 3 draws and 2 defeats. Here's Andy Bevan getting in on the action nice and early. One of the real standouts in the competition, particularly in the last month or so. It's been such a big part of Team Wellington's recent success. Harris climbing high over the top of Mason Smith. Matt Conga saw nothing wrong with it. Rory McKeown put under pressure from Derek Tiku. And McKeown should be able to safely see that one away. In fact, wins the free kick. Just an apology as well to Derek Tiku. In previous matches, we've mispronounced his surname. I have it on very good authority now, from the man himself, actually, that it is Derek Tiku. So that is what we will call him from now on. 11 goals this season. The Golden Boot likely to be decided today as well. Hamish Watson with 12 goals. Tiku with 11. So at the end of 90 minutes today, we should have our Golden Boot winner, unless there's something sensational in the other games and somebody gets half a dozen goals. Grieve or Rogerson or Foyt. Can't see it happening, so let's say that the Golden Boot winner is out there in front of us today. Just remains to be seen whether it's Watson or Tiku. Here is Clarkin on debut. Bit of a heavy touch. Williams goes across, but Clarkin using his body well. Mark Jones into the side today. So the injuries to Comba, Pratt and Lamb for Hamilton Wanderers, as I understand it, are not serious enough for them to be in doubt for next weekend. I get the feeling it's more of a precautionary measure that they haven't travelled today. Pratt in particular, and the other two as well, have been big parts of this team all year. And I'm sure Carl Herbert just unwilling to risk them with the semi-final place already secure. Yes, they want to win today so they can host next weekend, but you'd rather have your full roster available to you rather than pick up a niggle in the final regular season game or aggravate one which is already there. Here's Tiku again off on a run. Clarkin also looking to ghost in behind the Team Wellington defence. Jack Henry Sinclair with his first opportunity into the aforementioned Hamish Watson. Bit of a scrappy start from both of these sides. No real fluidity to the play of either in the first 3 minutes here in Wellington. Just feeling one another out and getting used to the surface. Great to see this game being played on grass. Both of these teams, of course, play their home games on the grass surface. Porritt Stadium was, or has been, one of the better playing surfaces around the league as well. McKeown wins a header, but fouls his man in the process of doing that, says referee Conga. Just checking on the health of the player on the ground, who actually hasn't moved very far, worryingly enough. Just thinking now about getting to his feet. He really took quite a whack there. Trying to pick up who that is. It might be Mark Jones, I think. It is Jones, who fell rather heavily to the ground there. He's back on his feet, which is good news, but he's not moving particularly freely. You can see there Matt Conga having a word to Mark Jones, just making sure he's okay. Free kick results anyway for Hamilton Wanderers. Jones back into a jog now. Ball planted in. Plenty of white shirts there. And it was Midgley who won it, and Jones comes out and passes his first test and goal for Team Wellington. Tries to set Sinclair away, but it's all the way down the other end to Matt Oliver, who has no problem with holding on to it. Zach Jones in goal for Team Wellington today. He's keeping Scotty Basale on the bench. A couple of excellent recent performances, and talking to Scotty Hales, the coach, before the game, he said, well, I can hardly drop a guy who's played so well recently and kept 2 clean sheets. What would that say about our philosophy here at Team Wellington if you were leaving a guy out who'd done everything asked of him? Here's Tiku, always so dangerous outside the penalty area, looking to make room for the shot. A couple of deflections there, Mata and others. And Zach Jones happy to see that roll gently towards him. It's the first sight on goal there for Derek Tiku in the first 5 minutes here. Jones untroubled to gather. Shouldn't really expect an early goal from Hamilton if this season's history is anything to go by. They've scored just 1 goal all season in the first half hour, Hamilton Wanderers this season. They've scored in every game, but the first half hour has not been prolific for them. The earliest they've ever scored away from home is the 34th minute. So here we are, only 5.5 in. You wouldn't expect them on that history to open the scoring, but these records only mean so much, don't they? Just takes 1 shot at goal and everything changes. Jones back in the game and looking good early on. McKeown stoops, gets it away. This is Liam Fellows going to take the throw-in. Just the 1 appearance so far off the bench this season for Liam Fellows. In fact, he's given it up to Joe Harris, who's been an ever-present by comparison. So we know that Joe Harris has got a long throw. Clarkin is at the near post, and he's a big lad. McKeown trying his best to get it away from him, and does really, really well, actually, Roy McKeown. But it's found its way back to Joe Harris, this time with the right boot. Lofts it up. Jones is under this. So is a climbing Clarkin. He's been heavily involved early in his debut, Josh Clarkin. Midgley steps in, though, and tidies up for Team Wellington. Sinclair again looking for the long ball. Not quite sure what his intention was there. Is he shooting there, Jack Henry Sinclair? No man ahead of him. So I get the feeling that that's a shot from Jack Henry Sinclair. Now, what's referee Conga seen here? He wants to have a chat to Rory McKeown, and Andy Bevan has come into the conversation as well, captain for Team Wellington today. Just wonder whether this is something that Roy McKeown's been saying, or whether Matt Conga perhaps thinks he's given away a couple of early fouls and might be in trouble the next time he does so in terms of a yellow card. Just on the yellow cards, Mario Barcia not playing today. The reason for that is that he is sitting on 6 yellow cards, and if he were to pick up a 7th, that would rule him out of the semi-final next weekend. So Scotty Hales and Mario Barcia, in consultation with one another, have decided that they can do without their inspirational skipper today and try and get themselves a semi-final here next weekend, which he will undoubtedly play in. Given away by Midgley, but he gets it back. The hand up, an apology. This is Ben Mata. Speaking of suspensions, if Mata was to be booked today, he would miss next week. So he's sitting on the cusp of a suspension. No Taylor Shrivers today through his 5 yellow cards he's accumulated. Team Wellington just settling into their passing rhythm. Mata, Midgley and McKeown, the back 3. Midgley looking for the run from Mason Smith and finds him. Well brought down by Sam Mason Smith. What are his options? Goes back to gut kick. Now Ollie White, a recent arrival back in New Zealand from where he was playing in Turkey. And foul given. So it's all diffused by Hamilton Wanderers. Carl Herbert's been extremely consistent in his team selection this season. 6 players have started every single game. For Hamilton Wanderers, Contrati, Davidson, Harris, Oliver, the goalkeeper, Tiku and Whitworth, all starting today, meaning they've started every one of Hamilton Wanderers' 14 games this season. For Team Wellington, only Rory McKeown has started every game. Here's Fellows. Deep towards the far post. Clarkin is there. Jones well aware of the aerial threat of Josh Clarkin. There's a round of applause just as the team arrived here and they gathered in a circle and Carl Herbert announced the team. A round of applause for young Joshua Clarkin. What a game to be making your Hamilton Wanderers debuting. Midgley looking for options, decides he'll go back to Zach Jones. Jones had time with the Wellington Phoenix Academy, in fact 3 seasons with them. Now through to Clark, and can he free up Tiku? He can. Is this the opening goal? Great save, Jones. Really good save, wouldn't have counted. Flag up on the far side. Jones didn't know that. Tiku, one of the league's deadliest marksmen, couldn't beat Jones. Was offside though, so it wouldn't have counted, but a confident and strong right hand from Zach Jones. Keeping that one out. Let's have another look at it. It was Clark and looked up. A really nice pass to Tiku. Wonder whether it was Clarkin who was offside rather than Tiku. Either way, flag on the far side from Sean Lau. And free kick results. So that's a real confidence booster for Zach Jones. Goalkeepers always like to get their hands on the ball early in a game and make saves. And even though the flag was already up, the fact that he had to get down and did well to parry that one from the deadly Derek Tiku will fill him with a fair amount of confidence, I'm sure. Here's Jones and McKeown again. Jones gets there first. He's barged off the ball, is he, by McKeown. He protests. Play goes on. Those two are going to have a running battle for most of the day, I would imagine. Rory McKeown and Mark Jones. Good to see Mark Jones back running at full speed. Hasn't been used as often by Carl Herbert this season, although he's played in every game, but not always in the starting role. He's been around for a long time, Mark Jones. Wonderful player at domestic level for Hamilton Wanderers. He had time at YBOP as well when that franchise was around. Always enjoyed very much watching Mark Jones torment opposition defences. Gut kick. Wins the ball initially, but taken off him by Tiku. Here is Mark Jones, who seems to be getting more and more into the game. McKeown stooped and headed that one behind for a corner. So Team Wellington just having to work out actually how to deal with Mark Jones up and down the right. With a back three, of course, you need your wing back, and it is the left wing back, Jake Williams. You need him to do some defensive work. Rory McKeown just making that point to young Jake Williams. Corner results. Jones is going to take Tiku in the 6-yard box, and a throng of white shirts towards the back post. Here's Harris. He and Contrati in one another's way. I saw Joe Harris call for that as the ball was coming over. Contrati thought he was the better option. And unfortunately for the Hamilton Wanderers defensive duo, it was all harmlessly diffused. Ollie White looking for the run of Jake Williams. A bit narrow for him. Oliver is out. He's been one of the better goalkeepers going around the ISPS Handa Men's Premiership this season as well. Matt Oliver, he's the all-time leading appearance maker for this franchise. Game 77 today for Matt Oliver in goal for Hamilton Wanderers. 5th season with the franchise. And it's players like him who really, you could see how much last weekend meant to them when they got the point against Eastern Suburbs, which earned them a semi-final spot for the very first time. Players who have been around since the franchise first joined the ISPS Handa Men's Premiership. They were 6th last year, 6th the year before that, 10th and 9th in their first 2 seasons. But the very worst they can finish in this season is 3rd. Wonderful work from Carl Herbert and his coaching staff and this bunch of players to make history for Hamilton Wanderers. Free kick coming for Team Wellington. Jack Henry Sinclair on the receiving end. Andy Bevan's come across to inquire as to where that might be taken from and perhaps whether a yellow card should have been forthcoming. And McKeown's come up to take this with his educated left foot. Plenty to aim at in the area. The likes of Mason Smith, Watson, Mutta is there. Only Williams and Midgley have stayed back. Gut kick on the edge. Ollie White in and around as well. Andy Bevan always dangerous in these situations. First opportunity perhaps for Team Wellington to test Matt Oliver in Hamilton's goal. McKeown delivers, and the flick from Sam Mason-Smith just wide. Delivery was good, just needed a touch of some sort, which Mason-Smith managed to get. But the direction just slightly off as it skimmed off his head and safely past the post. That's the aerial threat that Mason-Smith and Watson do possess. They're both good on the deck as well, but so good in the air. There's a appeal for handball there against Tiku as he brought that one down. No, says referee Matt Conga, so Tiku carries on. Good play from Tiku into Clarkin. This is Josh Signey now. He's been good this season as well, Signey. Clarkin gives it away, and Mason-Smith can burst away, and he looks up and sees Oliver off his line. What a goal from Sam Mason-Smith! Hamish Watson did it a couple of weeks ago against Auckland City. Anything you can do, I'll have a crack at, said Sam Mason-Smith, and he has beaten Matt Oliver from just inside Hamilton Wanderers' half. Let's have another look at it. Hamilton Wanderers were in possession. Is Signey into Clarkin, and Clarkin's ball didn't go where it was supposed to. Mason-Smith looked up, saw Oliver off his line. What a goal that is from Sam Mason-Smith. His 6th of the season, and Team Wellington into a 1-0 lead. Well, I was just talking about the aerial threat that Sam Mason-Smith presents to opposition teams, and all of a sudden he scores one from halfway. What a brilliant piece of awareness from a player who's been around for a long time now and certainly knows where the back of the net is. He's scored goals wherever he has played. Sam Mason-Smith, golden boot last winter for Miramar Rangers, who play on this very ground. So he knows the patch of grass pretty well, but he's scored goals, as I say, everywhere he's played pretty much. And another one there for the CV. So Hamilton Wanderers know now they'll have to score twice if they're to host a semi next week, at least twice. Flag up from Sean Lau on the far side there for offside. Sam Mason-Smith has really come into his own in the second half of the season. If you look back at the season that's played out, Sam Mason-Smith started the first game of the season. In fact, the first 2, but then was left on the bench for the next 3 matches. And I wonder whether that might have just given him a bit of a bruised ego and maybe a kick in the pants, because he's come back. And in fact, he freely admitted after the Hawke's Bay game when he was substituted at half-time. I spoke to him afterwards and asked if he was injured. He said, no, I'm just not playing very well. He's playing all right at the moment. He's come back into the side, and that front 3 of Watson, Mason-Smith and Bevan is causing all sorts of problems for all sorts of teams, as is this man, Derek Tiku. Gets away from Midgley. Good close control from Tiku. Gat kickers in. Falls to Signey. He's going to bring Fellows into the game. Jones peels away. McKeown touch tight with him. Comes in again, and it's a run from Reed as he tries to dispossess White. Team Wellington with a bit of trouble clearing it and haven't yet. Here's Mark Jones. Clarkin. Now Tiku, tight area. Mutta with him all the way. Shepherds him away from goal. Midgley there help out as well. Tiku. Jones drops it and tucked into the back of the net by Clarkin. Well, a short time ago he gave away the ball that allowed Team Wellington to score, but he's the man on the spot in the 6-yard box, and on debut, Josh Clarkin scores for Hamilton Wanderers, and we're all square at David Farrington Park. It's 1-1. There he is, Josh Clarkin, right place, right time for the youngster, and what a memorable debut, and a goal on debut for Joshua Clarkin. We're all tied up here in Wellington. And I mentioned that stat before about Hamilton Wanderers not scoring goals in the first half hour. Well, they've broken that one, and they've tied us up here at 1 apiece. Good work from Tiku in the build-up to that one. His shot across goal, too hot to handle for Zach Jones, who's in the process at the moment, I can tell you, of chastising himself for not holding on to that. And Clarkin was there to tuck it home. 1-1. So just to remind you of the scenarios, a draw would be enough for Team Wellington to finish outright second. Still plenty of time to go, though. We're not even really midway through the first half yet, so there's plenty of action to play out here. 1-1 already between these two, and we welcome you in wherever you may be watching. I know there'll be a big contingent of fans watching in the Waikato region from the Hamilton Wanderers Club. We welcome you in. You'll have enjoyed that. Shortly after Sam Mason-Smith's spectacular opening goal, Josh Clarkin with the almost opposite kind of goal, finishing from close range, but they all count for one, and 1-1 it is. Scotty Hales has sent his substitutes to warm up. Very warm day anyway here in Wellington. Big contingent of Team Wellington fans in attendance here. A lot of sun hats and sunglasses, sunscreen. Well, that'll be a big comfort to Josh Clarkin as well, because he gave the ball away that Sam Mason-Smith then scored from, so he would have, I'm sure, had that on his mind. But if he did, he's more than made up for it by being in the right place at the right time to tuck home Hamilton's equaliser. Harris tidies up. So these two teams are the only two in the entire competition to have scored in every game, and that record will remain. So not even Auckland City have managed to score in every game this season, but these two have, and they keep that record up. 22 goals this season for Hamilton Wanderers, 33 now for Team Wellington. Here's Mason-Smith, their goal scorer today. Oliver down safely with that one. That Team Wellington number is inflated, of course, by the 7 they put past Eastern Suburbs on this ground a couple of weeks ago. They also scored 5 here against the Wellington Phoenix Reserves. For Hamilton Wanderers, they've been more a side that scores in 1s and 2s. They got 3 in the first game against Hawke's Bay and then 3 against Canterbury United. Here's Mark Jones into McKeown, rebounds to him, and again McKeown is able to defend from Mark Jones. Still there for Hamilton Wanderers though. Ball into the area. Mata not taking any chances. He could probably hear Josh Clarkin breathing behind him. Behind it goes for a corner. So yeah, Hamilton Wanderers, 3 goals a couple of times this season, but it's been 1s and 2s since then. Already one though today, and a corner now as they look to turn a 1-0 deficit into a 2-1 lead. Contrati, Signey, Harris, Clarkin all there. Jones delivers. Mata ahead of Clarkin, and it's a strong header from Ben Mata. Jack Henry Sinclair up on halfway. Can they turn defence into attack? Ollie White. His pass is cut out. Gut kick though recycles. Mason-Smith out to Hamish Watson. Disappointing pass from Hamish Watson, and Hamilton Wanderers should be able to bring this one away. McKeown gives it away in midfield. Tiku doesn't have a lot of support at the moment. Gets it from Josh Clarkin though. Tiku has it stolen by Ollie White. Now Bevan, what can he set up? Mason-Smith has a man touch tight. Gut kick, clever pass out to Williams. Bevan. Pretty tight in midfield there, so they look to try and spread it into the wider parts of the pitch where there's a bit more real estate, but back into the middle it comes again. Some clever passing. Watson into the path of Andy Bevan. Bevan is taken out. Is he? No, a clean tackle, says the referee. Well, Matt Conga was right there, and while there were howls of protest from where I'm commentating from, and they're mainly Team Wellington fans to be fair, Matt Conga saw nothing wrong with it. Andy Bevan in on goal, and a clean tackle. To be fair, Matt Conga is a lot closer than most of us. Ball forward again towards Bevan. He can't win that one in the air and bounces safely through to Matt Oliver. It's been a good game. Plenty of feeling in this one. Bevan dispossesses Harris and then goes to deck, and the free kick has gone the other way. So that hasn't pleased Andy Bevan greatly, the Team Wellington captain. He's just inquiring of Matt Conga what it was that he did wrong. Hamilton Wanderers want to get going quickly towards Clarkin. Can he chest it off for Tiku? Can't quite because Midgley is there, but Tiku just so tricky. Jack Henry Sinclair is there to take it away from him. Watson sprints away from Contrati and does it well. That robust nature of Hamish Watson, but Contrati had to foul Hamish Watson in order to take it off him, so probably not a bad place to give away a free kick if you're a Hamilton Wanderers player. Andy Bevan just down on his haunches for a second there. Matt Conga wants a bit more silence from the benches by the sounds of things. 26 minutes gone here in Wellington. Sam Mason-Smith with the opening goal for Team Wellington. Josh Clarkin responding for Hamilton Wanderers. Contrati should have that one under control. Does. Falls in the centre circle, and here is Clarkin, but it's nipped away from him by gut kick. He's been impressive. One gut kick this season. G's been one of the breakout stars of this ISPS Handa Men's Premiership. Just such a assured player. White looking for Sinclair. What a pass. Can't quite bring it down. Jack Henry Sinclair, and then gives away the foul in the penalty area. Great pass from Ollie White. Jack Henry Sinclair didn't have to break stride to bring that down on his chest, but couldn't quite get it in the right area and fouled his defender. Team Wellington haven't lost a game after scoring the first goal this season. 4 wins and 4 draws in the 8 games in which they've gone 1-0 ahead. Really hot day here in Wellington, and crowd enjoying it. Players relishing a calm day as well. There's next to no wind, just a very light northerly breeze, but that is largely nullified by the club rooms at the northern end of this pitch. I'm looking at the corner flags, and there's just a really light flutter. As I've said a couple of times, you couldn't want a better day for a game of football. Contrati does well to get that one away, but only gives it to gut kick. One gut kick into Mason Smith. Jones is back doing some defensive work. Sliding in Sinclair on Clarkin. The referee said it was okay. Got to be a bit careful when you leave your feet, but Matt Conga said that one was all right. Watson. Sinclair. Takes a deflection, and that'll carry it into the hands of Matt Oliver with no problem. Other games today, English Park and Christchurch, Canterbury United against the Wellington Phoenix Reserves. Canterbury United still in with a chance of making the semi-finals. They must win today and have other results go their way. Super City Derby, Auckland City against Waitakere at Kiwatia Street. Waitakere know if they win, they are in as far as the semis are concerned, and they would face Auckland City again next weekend. If they're not able to win, then Eastern Suburbs come into the equation. Yellow card issued to Augustine Contrati, just as we're speaking there. Derek Tiku's come to have a word as captain of Hamilton Wanderers. But Augustine Contrati, and the word I'm hearing is that might be a 5th booking of the season for Contrati, which would be a real shame. It would rule him out of the semi-final next weekend. That's the stat that's been passed along from the amateur statisticians on the balcony here at David Farrington Park. I think they knew he was on 4. McKeown delivers. Oliver, no problem with that one. So Cale Herbert must have realised that was a possibility, and that's probably why Contrati was protesting so much, because he knew what that means. He's been one of the really composed central defenders, not the biggest guy going around, but good in the air, composed on the deck. Speaking of which, here's Tiku straight at Jones, who saw it coming, but Had to be sure at his near post. So Carl Herbert took the calculated risk of playing Contrati today, knowing that if he got a yellow, he wouldn't be available next week. That has happened. So that's one conundrum for Carl Herbert to deal with during the week. All Contrati can do is try and help his team get the 3 points today, which would earn them a home semi, even if he wasn't able to participate in it. Here's Jones, takes a deflection off McKeown. Friendly one for Team Wellington as well, because it lobbed into the hands of Jones. I talked about Carl Herbert's consistency of selection. Contrati's played every single game. In fact, I think he's played every single minute of every single game. So as far as the consistency of selection is concerned, there'll have to be a change there. Mata tries to draw one into Mason Smith, dealt with by Davidson. Tiku off to Joshua Signey. Now Davidson, he's put under pressure by Gutkek, and those long limbs of one Gutkek, difficult to get away from. And Matt Conger has decided that one was off Davidson last. Just having a quick chat to the fourth official. Quite sure what the conversation is there. Has the fourth official reversed that decision? You don't see that happen very often. Upshot as they throw for Hamilton Wanderers. Here's Clarkin, who's been prominent. Davidson dinks it in. Tiku is there, gets there ahead of Mata, who's not going to let him have a inch of space. It's off Mata last for the Hamilton Wanderers corner. Well, I mentioned the fact that Hamilton Wanderers don't score very often in the first half hour. They do, though, in the 15 minutes between the half-hour mark and half-time. 7 goals in the minutes between 30 and 45 this season. And we're in that danger zone now if you're a Team Wellington fan. Signey to take. Deep. They're all there. Away by Watson. Taken off the boot of Clarkin by Bevan. And now they can launch a counter-attack, can they, Team Wellington? Watson and Bevan getting in each other's way somewhat, which was a shame. Gutkek, though, striding forward, ball at feet. Into Bevan. He's flicking it on. Did that touch an arm? No, says the referee. I think he was hoping, Andy Bevan, that Jack Henry Sinclair would continue that run down the right and maybe latch on to that flick on. Let's have a quick look here. Here's the impressive one, Gutkek. Drifts it in. Little flick. Well, there's a suggestion, wasn't there, that it might have perhaps brushed his arm. Josh Signey. Not given. Outside the area anyway, so it wouldn't have been a penalty. Whitworth not able to control. Mason Smith, the other number 8, steps in. There's Ollie White in the pink boots. Watson, he's been well marshalled by Contrati, and that's fair enough, says the referee. Tiku breaks away, pokes it through, looking for Clarkin. Mata there, and gets there ahead of Josh Clarkin, who's just holding his left ankle as he jogs back into position. Midgley. He was looking for Mason Smith, who gave that one up fairly early when he realised that there was a bit too much on it from Scott Midgley. He's another one who's been very good for Team Wellington. 12 of 13, or 13 of 14 games now for Scott Midgley in this Team Wellington back three. Free kick for Hamilton Wanderers as Tiku hits the deck. He had a pretty torrid time of things a couple of weeks ago, Derek Tiku, when Hamilton Wanderers played the Wellington Phoenix reserves out at Fraser Park. They won that game 2-1, but he had a running battle with the referee all day, Derek Tiku. He was constantly on the end of some fairly robust attention from the Wellington Phoenix reserves. Scored a goal that day from a penalty, which was initially saved and then tucked away. But yeah, it was a memorable battle that day between Tiku and the referee. Towards the far post, climbing high as Jones over the top of Fellows. Evenly poised here at David Farrington Park as we approach the final 10 minutes of this first half. Great to be bringing you the action on Sky Sport Next. the help of the Stream Shop. Wonderful to be here, and welcome in wherever you may be watching around the country or across the world. 1-1 between these two very evenly matched sides. Watson and Harris together. Watson using his big frame to get it out to Williams. Robust challenge on him from Fellows. And it's come off Jake Williams for a Hamilton Wanderers throw. So not only was it a good challenge by Fellows, but he's managed to nick it off the leg of Jake Williams, and Hamilton will have the throw. Joseph Harris to take. His brother Jacob is in the matchday squad today for Hamilton Wanderers. Plenty of advice coming from the Hamilton Wanderers bench as Joe Harris lines up this free kick. He's going along towards Clarkin. Mata wins it. He's very good in the air, Ben Mata. Such a physical presence at the back there for Team Wellington. Bevan touches it off to what he hoped would be Ollie White. Tiku, clever. Into Reed. He can't find the rampaging Signey, and now breaking forward Ollie White. He's got a couple up with him. Mason Smith. Can he link up with his old mate Hamish Watson? Not able to do so. Has it taken off him in midfield. Good tackle in there from Liam Fellows. Tiku's dropped out to the left wing side. Forward towards Clark, and he's got Mata with him. Tries to link up again with Tiku, but Midgley well aware of what was going on. Gets that one away. Watson is fouled by Davidson as he went to control that one, and lots of protests from the Team Wellington bench. Matt Conga says, that's okay, I've got it. Adam Davidson is the second man into the notebook for Matt Conga. So Contrati and Davidson are both in the book now for Hamilton Wanderers. Hamish Watson hasn't yet got up off the ground after that challenge. He felt it, that's for sure. Now he's back on his feet. Not too many chances falling the way of Hamish Watson today, as he looks to add to that dozen goals so far this season. If you're just joining us, Sam Mason-Smith with an absolutely spectacular opening goal here from just his side of halfway to open the scoring. And Hamilton Wanderers debutant Joshua Clarkin replying from close range shortly afterwards. 1-1 in Wellington. Mata just treads on the ball momentarily, but gets it away. Bevan. Mason Smith. He's got Jake Williams raiding up outside him. Harris well aware though. Belts it long. Jones looking to get on the end of it. McKeown having none of that. White in midfield. Clever. Little shimmy to get away from Reed. Now what's he got? Ollie White. Reed's getting back to try and halt his progress. Williams. Watson. Was he fouled there? No, says the referee. Play on. So I will, says Hamish Watson, and shoot. Matt Oliver, well, I think pretty much had it covered. He saw it coming and comfortably parried it and then collected. So that would be, I think, probably the first opportunity Hamish Watson's had to have a sight on goal. You can't give him too many though, because he will punish you, as he has here a number of times. A couple of hat-tricks here against Waitakere United and Eastern Suburbs for Hamish Watson. There was Fellows coming through the middle. Whitworth drives it towards Clarkin. He's up high and does win the header. Brings it down Clarkin. Can he free up Tiku? Foot in from Ollie White, which was pretty crucial, and that one. Hamilton looked to come again through Tiku. The flick doesn't quite come off. He's looking for Davidson on the outside. Approaching the final 5 minutes plus stoppages here. It's been a enthralling first 40. Bit of an arm wrestle, you might say. Watson wins a header. Whitworth in the way, though. He sets Jones on his way. McKeown's got some catching up to do. Here is Mark Jones. Early ball. Mata there ahead of Tiku. Really good defending from Ben Mata. Tracking Tiku all the way. Great body position. Puts it behind for the corner. Jones, though, with a clean set of heels. And you don't want to give him that too often. He got away from Rory McKeown. Got the cross in. Another corner results. Once again, the big bodies are all forward. Fellows, Harris. Clarkin is there. Jones delivers. Plenty of elevation. And Ollie White decides, with Liam Fellows coming in behind him, that he'll put that one behind. Protests again from Team Wellington officials and coaching staff that perhaps he got a barge in the back there from Liam Fellows. Matt Conga decides that everything was above board and it'll be a corner from the other side. So Mark Jones will jog all the way across to the left wing side to whip this one in. Everybody has stayed forward. Only Reid and Davidson back. Tiku in the 6-yard box. The tall timber on the edge, as has been the case for all of Hamilton's corners so far. Once again, the delivery is good and headed down, and that's hit Sam Mason-Smith and gone behind for a corner. Sam Mason-Smith knew nothing about that, I can promise you. Absolutely nothing about it. He was falling to deck. The ball's deflected off him and gone behind for a corner. Let's have another look at it. As the ball came in, the header down onto the line. Sam Mason-Smith, no idea, but great defending nonetheless. Delivery from Mark Jones again, really good. And Hamilton Wanderers are a threat at set-piece time. Another deep one. Up they go again, but this one is too big, and even Fellows with his height can't haul that one in. Gut kick brings it away. Gives it away to Contrati, who sprints after this one. Already on a yellow card. Just has to be a bit careful. Contrati does really well, actually, with Midgley. Into Clarkin. Josh Clarkin in the area. Clever. Tiku. Derek Tiku. Up and over from Hamilton's talisman, Derek Tiku. Well, Contrati and Midgley there in a battle of the number 6s down by the corner flag. Won by Augustine Contrati. Not too many players get past Scott Midgley, I can tell you that. Contrati did. 2.5 minutes plus stoppages in the first half remaining here at David Farrington Park. Little flick, or more of a powerful header actually, by Watson. Fellows deals with it. Midgley looking for the run of Mason-Smith. He's looking inside for Hamish Watson, who was sitting on his heels just a bit. I don't think he expected the header inside from Sam Mason-Smith. And when he realised that perhaps he might have an opportunity, headed back by Contrati towards Matt Oliver. In terms of substitutes at the disposal of these two coaches, only 3 outfield subs for Hamilton Wanderers: Tommy Semi, Jacob Harris and Philip Paul. At his disposal, Scotty Hales has Aaron Spain, Kalen Gould, Harris Zeb and Max Batchelor on the bench. Tiku brings it down really nicely. Signey and Clarkson involved. Bevan steps in and brings it away into Watson. Now Ollie White. Bevan continues his run, but so too does Williams. That was a sliding foul from Clarkin, which went unnoticed perhaps, but they might come back for it. In the meantime, Mason-Smith back across goal. Cleared away by Contrati. And clearance completed by Davidson. Team Wellington still there though. Williams, Bevan, lovely turn, Andy Bevan. Oh, it's straight into the head there of a Hamilton Wanderers defender. Might be Whitworth there, is it? Who just wore that one in the middle of his head. Here's Mason-Smith again, already 1 goal today. There's another one coming. Watson, surely Hamish Watson! And Mason-Smith tucks it in. It'll count. Well, it looked for all the world as though Team Wellington might have butchered that for a second, but Sam Mason-Smith with his second of the afternoon, and just in the shadows of half-time, Team Wellington have taken a 2-1 lead. Sam Mason-Smith was involved the first time back towards Watson. You thought that Watson was going to tuck that one in. Sliding challenge by Fallows and nipping in Mason-Smith to tidy up the scraps and tuck it home for another goal for Sam Mason-Smith. 7 for the season now, which takes him up to joint third on the Golden Boot standings. Watson 12 and Tiku 11, of course. But Sam Mason-Smith with 7 goals now, equal with Waitakite's Alex Grieve and Auckland City's Logan Rogerson. So that's a nice way to finish the half for Scotty Hales and Team Wellington. We're into added time at the end of this first half. Zach Jones just winding down the clock. Didn't see the fourth official indicate how many extra minutes. I presume just the one. Haven't been any stoppages really to speak of in this first half. So Sam Mason-Smith with a brace. Is there one more opportunity for Team Wellington near the end of this first half? Ollie White driving deep. Williams. Rory McKeown. They might just wind it down. Eyes on the referee. He's quite happy for them to play on. Sinclair. Mason-Smith off on a decoy run. Carving through the middle. Jack Henry Sinclair. Out towards Jake Williams. Can he recycle? Back across goal. And at the near post, Andy Bevan. Cleared away by Hamilton Wanderers, and on we'll go. So maybe another opportunity for Hamilton Wanderers. Jones can't control it though. Watson's back. A bit casual from White. Flying in Williams, and they should diffuse this okay as Jones climbs all the way over the back of Jake Williams. He lashes out a little bit in retaliation. Hamish Watson wants a word with Mark Jones as he's seated on the ground. Referee comes in to diffuse the situation, and I wonder whether he might just blow for half-time to give them 15 minutes to cool off. He's just going to have a quick word, Matt Conga, with his assistant Sean Lau here, just to get an alternative view of what transpired there. It was Jones and Williams who came together, who are now having a fairly amicable conversation with one another, it must be said, not far from where Conga and Lau are having their discussion. Matt Conga has got the yellow card out from what I can see here. Now, who's he going to show it to? It's a yellow card for Williams and a yellow card for Williams only. So that's the upshot. Jake Williams is in the book as we approach half-time, and they'll add some more time on, no doubt, for the stoppage we've just had. So there might be another opportunity for Hamilton Wanderers. Now, Jake Williams is most displeased with the booking. Mark Jones wants to continue the conversation. Jake Williams has no idea what he's done to earn the yellow ticket. How are we restarting here? So we're restarting with a Team Wellington free kick, and it's Jake Williams from Team Wellington who's gone into the book. So a little hard to decipher, but that's what the official record of the match will show. And that is the end of the first half of this particular match, and it's been a good one too for the spectators here in Wellington, and hopefully for you on the live stream as well, as we go to the break here at David Farrington Park. A late goal from Sam Mason-Smith to add to a spectacular opening goal earlier in the half. Team Wellington with 2 goals. Hamilton Wanderers' goal came via Josh Clarkin from close range. Plenty more to play out in this one in the second 45 minutes. Please don't go anywhere. Half-time here in Wellington. Team Wellington 2, Hamilton Wanderers 1. I think they're making a change, yeah. He's on, but I think it's Clarkin. Clarkin off, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Right. Welcome back to David Farrington Park. Just about set for a start in the second half here. Substitution at half-time for Hamilton Wanderers. Debutant and goal scorer Joshua Clarkin has departed. He seemed to be limping a little bit as he made his way to the bench, but a good solid debut for Joshua Clarkin. Tommy Semi, not a bad guy to have coming off the bench, and he is into the action in 13 for Hamilton Wanderers. Underway in the second half. Sam Mason-Smith's brace, goals in the 16th and 45th minutes, has Team Wellington into a 2-1 lead. Clarkin, the goal scorer for Hamilton after 19. Tommy Semi looks to emulate Sam Mason-Smith early on with his first touch, I think. A bit closer in, but maybe a bit wider out. Zach Jones able to watch it fly harmlessly by. So as things stand, if the score was to remain this way, we would have a semi-final between these two teams back here next weekend. Reminding you that if Hamilton Wanderers secure a win today, they will host a semi-final next weekend against Team Wellington. In other words, these two play next weekend. We just yet don't know where. Mark Jones looking to get involved early in the second stanza. Tiku chases after Mata, who is assured and his ball back to Jones. Mason-Smith making it difficult for the opposition and doing so illegally, says referee Matt Conger. 3 bookings in the first half. Davidson and Contrati in the book for Hamilton Wanderers. Jake Williams right at the end of the half in rather confusing circumstances for Team Wellington. Here's Tiku. He and Semi are such a dangerous combination if they can get things going up top for Hamilton Wanderers. Do not count this team out. They were 1-0 down, and I said they needed to score a couple if they're going to host. Well, they've got one of them. And in guys like Tiku in particular and Semi, they have excellent strikers at this level. Tiku in particular, 11 goals so far this season. Semi just the 3, but he's been in and out of the side. Tommy Semi for various reasons, but still one of the better strikers going around. So some work to do for the rear guard of Team Wellington. At the moment it's Sam Mason-Smith who's trying to make things difficult for Harris and Davidson. And it'll be a throw basically next to the corner flag. Great to see Jack Henry Sinclair back playing football. Speaking to him before the game. Today was supposed to be the game that he was scheduled to come back for. Remembering, of course, he did his shoulder in the second round. Wasn't supposed to play until today, but was 5 weeks ahead of schedule with his rehab. It's wonderful stuff from Jack Henry Sinclair. Early corner in the second half for Team Wellington. Rory McKeown going to size this one up. Mata, Watson, Mason-Smith. Mason-Smith on the near post. Sinclair's off to get it back to McKeown. Not quite the delivery he was after, I don't think. Ollie White tries to recycle under pressure from Reed. Tiku there as well. Clever from Derek Tiku. And now Joe Harris on a rare foray forward. Big Joe Harris off on a run. Chased all the way by Sinclair. Joe Harris has a goal this season for Hamilton Wanderers from a wonderful free kick situation. You don't often see him raiding forward like that, but he is a threat at set piece time if there was to be a free kick in an area just outside the penalty box. Fellows, can he haul that one in? No is the answer. We should expect goals in the second half because 2/3 of all of the goals this season in the ISPS Handa Men's Premiership have been scored in the second half. And over a quarter of them, 46 of the 176 goals that have been scored in the last 15 minutes of matches. So you cannot switch off. Sinclair tries to free up Mason Smith. Davidson read it well. Can he turn defence into attack? He brings Jones in. Jones has gone across to the left-hand side. Always a dangerous runner, Jones. Into Reed. Tiku can't quite gather. Ollie White bursting forward with Whitworth in hot pursuit. It's a clip of the heels from Contrati, which didn't go unnoticed, but play allowed to go on. Fallows looking for Tiku. Mata, majestic, over the top of Derek Tiku. Falls to Semi. Such a difficult player to get the ball off Tommy Semi. Davidson trying to link with Mark Jones. Once again, Jack Henry Sinclair doing the defensive work. Whitworth trying to pull some strings in the middle of the park for Hamilton Wanderers. Tiku, semi-close to him. Tiku, and it was a bit interesting for Zach Jones, shall we say. Took a bit of a deflection and lobbed up into his hands. He was relatively assured in gathering it though. Signey looking to set Semi away. Oh, I wonder, did Tommy Semi just pull up lame there? Or was that just a little skip of frustration? No, he's okay. I just worried a bit there about Tommy Semi, who we saw go off in the game against the Wellington Phoenix Reserves 3 weeks ago at Fraser Park. He pulled up lame during the game and had to be replaced. So just a bit of a nervous moment there. There's Watson. Contrati falls over at exactly the wrong moment. Hamish Watson now looking to bring his strike partner Mason Smith in. And flag is up against Sam Mason Smith. Well, he thought he looked across the line and saw a man closer to the goal than he was. No, said Sean Lau, the assistant referee on that side. Mata, very rarely is he beaten in the air. Free kick coming for Hamilton Wanderers though. I guess the other thing that Team Wellington know is that while they'll be playing next week, if they do have to travel to Hamilton, then this will be their last game at David Farrington Park, and I don't think they're quite ready to say goodbye just yet. Hamish Watson falls over under pressure from Reed. The two of them come together again, and that's fallen the way of Hamish Watson. He's got Bevan up with him. Just gets away from Hamish Watson, and Signey can tidy up. So Team Wellington don't want this to be their last game on this patch of grass. They want to come again next weekend. At the moment, with the score the way it is, that will transpire. But if they were to fall behind, Team Wellington would know they'd need to score again in order to schedule another game on their beloved Davy F. Harris ahead of Watson. Bevan. Nice little 1-2 with Sinclair. Harris, though, in the way of Sinclair's cross. High press from Team Wellington. Bevan goes to deck but can't get it off Jones. Jones is on his way into Semi. McKeown there with him. But a pinball in midfield falls the way of Brad Whitworth. He was looking to free up Tiku, couldn't. Watson getting more and more involved in the second half. Looks up, sees Bevan, elects instead for a pass to Sinclair. Now Bevan gets it. Ollie White saw the run from Williams, so too did Fellows, who cut it out. Jones skips away from McKeown. That'll be a yellow card, I would imagine, for Rory McKeown. Foul on halfway as it looks as though Mark Jones was going to skip away. So Roy McKeown goes into the book as the latest addition. So 2 from each side now in referee Matt Conger's notebook. Launch long, Mata again is supreme in the air. This time he uses his right boot to slam it away. Mason Smith back helping out. Sinclair into Bevan. Watson's off on a run. Is he onside? When he touches the ball, I think he'll be offside, and is. So assistant referee Sean Lau was just waiting, as is the custom these days, for Hamish Watson to play at that football. And once that happened, he was judged to have been in an offside position. Ten minutes gone, second half. Of course, I think I mentioned before that it was 1-1. Of course, it's 2-1. I forgot Sam Mason-Smith's goal at the end of the first half. I shouldn't have forgot that. 2-1 to Team Wellington. So they would have to lose the game in order to not be here next week. So my apologies for giving everybody a fright. 2-1 to Team Wellington, not 1-1. So Hamilton Wanderers need 2 goals in order to take the semi back to Hamilton. 2-1 at the moment. Sinclair and Davidson together. A third goal now for Team Wellington would be, you'd have to think, decisive. Contrati wins it. There for Watson. Hacked away by Reid, only as far as Gatkick. Whitworth was on him straight away. Well played by Brad Whitworth. Now Semi. Whitworth freeing up Tiku. Raiding outside is Jones. Good move this from Hamilton Wanderers. Jones into Tiku. Is this 2-2? It is 2-2. Flowing move from Hamilton Wanderers. And Derek Tiku deadly in front of goal as per usual. What a counter-attack from Hamilton Wanderers. And Derek Tiku does a couple of things. He draws Hamilton Wanderers level at 2 apiece, and also draws level himself at the top of the golden boot ladder with Hamish Watson. Look at all the players involved here. Semi to Whitworth, into Tiku. Jones up on the outside, got it from Tiku. Tiku continued his run, took a touch, and in a short finish past Jones. What a good goal that is from Derek Tiku, and it brings Hamilton Wanderers back to 2-2. For the second time this afternoon, they found an equaliser. So we'll just catch you up on the scoreboard in a moment. 2-2 now here in Wellington. There we go. Just flicking it over now. 2 apiece. Wonderful goal by Hamilton Wanderers. Just the flowing nature of it. The pace with which defence was turned into attack. Tiku involved a couple of times. Mark Jones, always a threat in those situations. Offside on this occasion, though, as the ball found its way through to him. So now we are in a situation where Team Wellington know a goal. Another one against them would cause them some angst. A dozen goals now this season for Hamilton Wanderers main man Derek Tiku. He and Hamish Watson level on that number at the top of the Golden Boot standings. And here's Tiku again, looking for another one. Jones involved. Here's Mark Jones lining one up straight into the midriff of Ben Mata. And Jack Henry Sinclair has fouled. And Davidson is going to have a chat to the referee. He's already in the book, Adam Davidson, so I can't imagine that's a yellow card offence, but it might just be a cautionary word from Matt Conga for Adam Davidson. Of course, the Golden Boot race only takes in the regular season, doesn't include the semi-finals or the final. So at the end of 90 minutes today, if it stays this way, we'll have a shared Golden Boot. Tiku and Watson. Sam Mason-Smith, as I mentioned before, is up to 7 now. Here is Mason-Smith looking to flick on for Watson. Harris is there. Contrati with some gymnastics to get it away from Mason-Smith. Mark Jones has been influential for Hamilton Wanderers, and he's fouled by Ollie White, who's going to go into the book. So Ollie White, the latest addition to the notebook. So the yellow cards are coming thick and fast now. Williams, McKeown and White for Team Wellington. We've got Contrati and Davidson in the book for Hamilton Wanderers. An hour gone. All three results still well and truly on the table here in the capital. Davidson to plant this one forward. Plenty of bodies there. Zach Jones can see it coming, and it's good assured goalkeeping from Zach Jones. Today the first time he's conceded in his 3 starts for the side. Both sets of substitutes warming up not far from our commentary position. Might be a further injection from one or both of these sides in the not too distant future. Cale Herbert's already used one of his replacements in Tommy Semi. There's Tiku. Turns cleverly. Just to slide one into Signey. McKeown was well aware of what was going on, and Jones clears. Only up to Fellows though. Good header from Davidson down towards Derek Tiku into the area. Good sliding challenge from Ben Mata. Had to be made as well. Really good header from Adam Davidson. And Derek Tiku onto it in a flash. Ben Mata had to go to deck to defuse it all. He's stayed down for the meantime. Back up on his feet now. Helped there by Derek Tiku. But it's a corner for Hamilton Wanderers. He just cannot give Derek Tiku a metre of space. Corner taken. Jones again is assured and plucks it from the Wellington sky. It's given back to Zach Jones, and the pass back, of course, you're not allowed to handle the back pass, and it bounced up and hit Zach Jones in the hand. But I think the fact that it hit another part of his body before it deflected into his hand probably saved him there. Scott Midgley made it a little bit difficult for Zach Jones there as he played the ball back to him. No harm done, but a bit of a nervous moment. Some movement on the benches. As yet, we're not going to have a substitution. McKeown looking for Sinclair. Davidson is well aware of the threat he poses, but he's done well to get away from him just momentarily. Jack Henry Sinclair. Still with the ball. Jones helping Davidson out now. Sinclair goes to deck, and the upshot's a goal kick. So well done, Adam Davidson, and a little bit of help from Mark Jones. Mark Jones is asking Matt Conga why that perhaps wasn't a handled back pass. Mark Jones will be fairly up with the rules of the game. His wife, of course, is Sarah Jones, who's been an A-League assistant referee for some time now. Where's the next chapter in this tale going to be written? Semi and Tiku combining, still full of running. Derek Tiku pushed wide by McKeown though. Williams is there to lend a hand, and it's off Tiku last, and it's a throw, but still plenty of energy from Derek Tiku. 2-2 here. Watson keen to win that one in the air and did. Tidied up by Whitworth. Taken away from Hamilton by Williams, who pokes it through. Harris was there first, and a bit of a scuffed clearance from Oliver, but did enough. Bevan wins it over the top of Fellows, who got an elbow in the back of the head. Not malicious at all, and he's back on his feet now. Liam Fellows just gives it a rueful rub. Mata thought about giving it back to his keeper and then decided against us into the path of Tiku, and Jones made the save. Flag up on the far side anyway, wouldn't have counted, but some nervous moments at the back there for Team Wellington. Zach Jones stuck up a big left hand and diverted the shot away. Mark Rule, assistant referee on this near side, already had his flag up. There's Jones again in the action. Midgley knows he can't give him too much room. Sinclair there to help out as well. Twisting and turning, Mark Jones retaining possession, back to Davidson. Jones again. Tried to lift it into the path of Davidson. Still there for Hamilton Wanderers, but it might all sort of fizzle out now as it's gone out for what will be a Team Wellington throw. Just keeping an eye on the benches to see if there's any movement there. Team Wellington subs appear to have sat back down, so we're not going to see a replacement just yet from the home side as we approach the game's final quarter. Here's Whitworth. He's going to line up the shot, Brad Whitworth, and that's cleared the fence and is down into the school at the southern end of the ground here from Bradley Whitworth. Still a perfect day for it here in Wellington. Reid didn't win the header first time, got the ball back rather fortuitously. Falls to Davidson. He's barged into by Sinclair. Illegally, says referee Matt Conga. Davidson's just stayed down with a knock. Helped back to his feet by Contrati. Or is this a bit more serious for Adam Davidson? He's a little reluctant to get back on his feet at the moment. Bit of concern on the benches from Cale Herbert and his coaching staff. Seems to be okay. Does Adam Davidson, although he's not that keen to take the free kick, so he gives that responsibility to Brad Whitworth and walks rather gingerly back across halfway. Just an elbow in the lower back by the looks of things for Adam Davidson. Driven in. Dealt with the first time by Team Wellington. Foul by Semi. Is Tommy Semi going to get a talking to from the referee? There's been a number of cards handed out today. I think that's Derek Tiku, not Semi. My apologies. Yellow card stays in the pocket on this occasion from Matt Conga. Watson, good header. Mason Smith can't quite latch onto it. Geez, so good in those situations, Hamish Watson. I'll tell you what, he'd love a goal to jump clear again of Tiku. I'm reasonably positive that Hamish Watson knows that Tiku is now level with him on that golden boot ladder. Mata wins yet another header. Cale Herbert up off his bench for Hamilton Wanderers, trying to urge his team on. Now there might be an issue here for Liam Fellows, who's gone to deck in the act of taking that throw. We'll come back to that. Here's Signey. He tried to pull it back. Gut kick, having none of it. As Liam Fellows took that throw in, he seemed to... Well, it might just be a bit of cramp, is it, from Liam Fellows. He's being dealt with by a teammate, so not an injury, although they are going to make a change by the looks of it, and it looks like it's going to be a first appearance of the season for Jacob Harris. He's going to join his brother, Joe, and it will be for Liam Fellows, who has succumbed to cramp. So into the action is Jacob Harris, the younger brother of Joseph. So the Harris boys on together now, standing in close proximity as they wait for this corner. Jones again with the responsibility. Once again, it's a deep delivery and over the top of everybody. In fact, that one had curled out and back in, so rather a wasted opportunity there for Hamilton Wanderers. So 2 subs used now by Cale Herbert today. He's introduced Tommy Semi and Jacob Harris for Joshua Clarkin and Liam Fellows. Just the one outfield substitute remaining at his disposal. Philip Paul is the one remaining outfield sub for Hamilton Wanderers. Yet to see any movement as far as subs are concerned for Team Wellington. Though I think Max Batchelor looks quite keen to get involved shortly. Bevan latches onto a nice pass from Mason Smith. Not so much support at the moment. Falls back to Mason Smith though. Ollie White helps it on to Sinclair. As he found by Contrati, might have been, doesn't matter. Here's Hamish Watson, arrowing it on goal. Hamish Watson, good save by Oliver. Back to Watson, back across goal. Bevan there, away by the new man, Jacob Harris. Good defending. Gut kick, danger not away for Hamilton Wanderers. It might be now, and Ollie White goes in reasonably vigorously on Mark Jones. Free kick only, says Matt Conga. On a knife edge in Wellington. 2-2 it is. Midgley with the head at that time. Mason Smith towards Watson. Sinclair's up on the outside if Watson can find him, which he can. Sinclair faced by Contrati, who's got to be careful. He's on a yellow card. White is there. Taken off him by a combination of Reid and now Signey. Hamilton Wanderers pushing for a goal that would earn them a home semi. Going to deck Sinclair. You've got to be a bit careful when you do that. Referees don't like it too much when you leave your feet. Just a free kick though. Davidson looks in bewilderment towards the referee. Well, it's been a history-making season for Hamilton Wanderers. Can they create a little bit more? Jones. Mark Jones, a bit too much on the delivery. And chastises himself behind the goal there for being unable to get that ball across. It's been good today, Mark Jones. Really, really good. Gut kick. Can Team Wellington find a goal that would be, as the clock ticks down, extremely decisive? A draw is enough, remember, for Team Wellington to host next week. Away by Joe Harris. Gut kick wins it over the top of Semi. Jacob Harris has slipped into that right back roll. So a straight swap with Fellows. Once given away to Jake Williams, who went to ground rather theatrically, looking for a free kick, which didn't come. Bevan, nice little turn into space from Andy Bevan. Good sliding tackle from Whitworth, though. Nothing wrong with it, says the referee. Midgley steps in, though, to take it away from Jones. Looks up and sees a couple of options. Checks back, White. Into Bevan. Return pass to White, and now Watson. Can he wrap his foot around this one? Can't quite, and Matt Oliver's done well to prevent that going behind for a corner. Tiku does really well to control that one under pressure from Gut kick. Jones is being told to run at the defence. Falls the way of Reed. Davidson's advanced. Tiku with the flick header. And Tiku had moved into an offside position. So free kick results. We're into the final 15 minutes. As I mentioned earlier, a quarter of the goals this season in the ISPS Handa Men's Premiership. In fact, more than a quarter of them have come in the last 15 minutes. You'd be foolish to suggest that the scoring is all done here today. Mason Smith helps it on towards Bevan. Jacob Harris just decided the best strategy there was to welly it out of danger, which he did effectively. Watson with a rare moment of miscontrol. Tiku gets away from McKeown momentarily and then nips it past Mata. McKeown was back with a shoulder charge. Tiku so difficult to dispossess. Falls to Jacob Harris. Semi now. Jones. Lovely touch to bring that one down. Midgley has to be careful. Semi out to Davidson. Good move this by Hamilton Wanderers. Is there an end product? No. Ball towards the far post where no one had made a run. And it drifts harmlessly out for a Team Wellington throw. Still no real movement on the bench for Scotty Hales. You have to wonder what his mindset will be as we get closer to the 90 minutes. Does he settle for the draw, which would be enough to keep his team at home next weekend? Does he chase a winner, which would, at this stage of the game, almost snuff out Hamilton's hopes? Mason Smith tried to feed Sinclair. Davidson in the way. Robust challenge from Watson, and it falls his way. Hamish Watson going to deck was Signey to take it off him, and then Davidson as well. That's good defending by Hamilton Wanderers. Can they turn it into attack as they did so effectively earlier in the half? Jones carries on to Jones. Reed onto Davidson. How's the cross back, and the shot is up and over from Tommy Semi. Hands to the head from Derek Tiku as Semi arrived. Ball along the carpet into his path. Not able to direct it down. Good opportunity though for Tommy Semi. And Hamilton Wanderers are just so effective at counter-attacking. They break quickly from halfway. The likes of Davidson and Jones looking to feed Tiku and Semi. Such a dangerous side. Calls for a foul against Watson, not given. Tiku. Lightning quick turn. Jones. Important intervention from Midgley. He's going to break forward, and he is fouled is Midgley by Reed. And once again, no card forthcoming. Well, not at the moment anyway. Lewis Reed might get a talking to from the referee here, but it seems as though he's going to keep the cards in his pocket for now. Team Wellington are about to make their first change of the afternoon as Midgley lines up this free kick. Whitworth wins it. Tiku brings it down. That's just wonderful from Derek Tiku. Reed's become more and more involved in the second half. Jones now just a bit ahead of Josh Signey. Team Wellington look to pass this one out. Ollie White bangs it long. Jacob Harris in control of that one. Williams forward to Watson. Gives it back to Williams. Can he keep it in? He can. Can he get away from Jacob Harris? Not at the moment. Watson again turns into trouble, does he? No. Keeps the ball across to Sinclair. Sinclair on Davidson. Inside and outside from Jack Henry Sinclair. Ball towards the near post. Contrati was there. Sinclair shields his eyes from the sun and brings it down brilliantly. Can he keep it in? He can. Well done, Jack Henry Sinclair. Ball towards the in middle. Mason Smith up with the header. Really good defending from Joe Harris. And there's protests from fans and players, but goal kick results. Going to have another change for Hamilton Wanderers. Last one available for them. And it's going to be Mark Jones who makes way. And Philip Paul into the action for a rare appearance for Philip Paul this season. Just a second appearance of the season for Philip Paul, both from the bench. And double sub, I think, for Team Wellington. So one gut kick is off for Harris Zeb. And we're also going to see the introduction of Max Batchelor for Hamish Watson. So Hamish Watson won't be able to add to his 12 goals. So at the moment, he and Tiku are tied. Derek Tiku knows that he has the opportunity to claim the golden boot if he can score again. He's got the best part of 8.5 minutes plus stoppages to a fair challenge, says referee Matt Conger. It's getting pretty willing out there. Here's the new man, Max Batchelor, who's just recently rejoined the side. Spent time in Cyprus recently. Ball through to Tiku. Is this the moment? Derek Tiku! Good save, Jones. And it's the new man there, Reed, Paul, who almost had the opportunity early in his time in the game to fashion a shot. Here it is again with Derek Tiku near post. Zach Jones with a tidy save. It's a throw, and we know Joe Harris has got a long throw. And it's headed away by Mata. Back it goes to Harris. In fact, that's Jacob Harris over there. Both the Harris boys have got long throws. That's good to know. Here's Batchelor, his first chance to attack. Into the path of Harris Zeb, his first chance to make an impact. Zeb faced by Davidson. Held up for the meantime as Harris Zeb. Davidson does well. Zeb goes to Dick. That was all ball from what I could see. Harris Zeb back on his feet. And a good tackle by Davidson. And that time it wasn't. It was a penalty. Well, I thought they were both okay. Shows how much I know. Harris Zeb goes to deck under challenge from Davidson. And Team Wellington have a penalty. Well, the crowd seemed more interested in the first challenge on Harris Zeb. Instead, it's the second one. Let's keep an eye on this. Well, yeah, it does on that look. Look as though Davidson collected Zeb. Hamilton Wanderers are protesting vigorously, and there's some argy-bargy, as you can see, near the penalty spot. Well, what an opportunity for Team Wellington to secure the points and a home semi-final. Sam Mason Smith, hat-trick hunting from the penalty spot. Andy Bevan had picked up the ball momentarily, I noted, but Sam Mason Smith has taken responsibility. Hamilton Wanderers continue to protest, but Matt Conger is not changing his mind. So Matt Oliver standing in the way of a Sam Mason Smith hat-trick here today. It's a hat-trick for Big Sam, and it's a home semi-final in the bag for Team Wellington. A roly-poly of celebration from Sam Mason-Smith. A hat-trick today for the big fella, and that should seal the second spot on the ladder for Team Wellington and the right to host a semi-final next weekend. A very tidy finish from 12 yards from Sam Mason-Smith. He takes his tally for the season to 8. Nothing Matt Oliver could do. He went the wrong way. And Team Wellington now, for the third time today, go into the lead. Will they this time be able to hold on to it? So Harris Zeb with the instant impact, causing trouble in the penalty area. Adam Davidson, a judge to have brought him down. And from the penalty spot, unerring from Sam Mason-Smith to make it 3-2 here. And another goal this ISPS Handa Premiership season in the final 15 minutes. It's been a real theme, which means you can't relax because there could be more to come. Andy Bevan back doing the dirty work there along with Ollie White. He's in heavy traffic. Can he find some real estate out wide right for Zeb? He can. Mason-Smith peels away to the right. Harris Zeb runs through the middle. Joseph Harris able to take advantage of a heavy touch from Harris Zeb. Contrati goes to deck and earns his side a free kick, and it is a yellow card too for Jack Henry Sinclair. So another booking for Team Wellington. Sinclair is the latest to have his name taken. Can Hamilton Wanderers draw level for a third time today? They've sent just about everybody forward. Only Adam Davidson and goalkeeper Oliver are back towards the near post. Skims off the head of a Team Wellington player. Punched away by Zach Jones. And now Sam Mason-Smith sets off downfield with a couple of players in hot pursuit. Davidson is one of them. Sam Mason-Smith's heading for the corner. Davidson is there with him all the way. Mason-Smith might be a bit early in the piece to be soaking up time, but he's done well to win a throw. That's all you can do, and that's all the experience of Sam Mason-Smith there, soaking up the seconds, taking pressure off his team. Going to be another change coming for Team Wellington very shortly. Team Wellington want to make it now. You can hear the call, Scotty Hales from the bench there. Williams goes to deck and bangs his head on the way down. Free kick it is. The blow to his head was inadvertent. Now they're going to make the final change, and it will be Caelan Gould into the action, and it is the hat-trick hero, Sam Mason-Smith, who gets a really well-deserved ovation as he leaves. The owner of 3 goals today, Sam Mason-Smith. They are the 3 goals that have Team Wellington ahead with just a couple of minutes to go here. Matt Conger wants him to hurry up. Caelan Gould into the action for the final couple of minutes plus stoppages. Jake Williams is just making sure he's okay. Might have got a blow to the eye there as he went down. Seems okay to take the free kick though, so no problem. Team Wellington not exactly throwing men forward for this free kick, you wouldn't say. In fact, they'll go into the corner. Andy Bevan has it. Off Bevan last, was it? No, off a Hamilton Wanderers player last. So more precious seconds are soaked up just on 90 seconds plus stoppages. You'd have to imagine there'd be an extra 3 or 4 minutes to play. Into Bevan again, back to Williams. Quite happy just to keep it over there, although Williams treads on the ball and puts it out for a throw. It's a shove in the back there from Philip Paul, who was quite happy to, wanted to get on with it. So just game management needed now for Team Wellington. 3-2 ahead into the final minute. McCowan with a big header. Team Wellington in absolutely no hurry to take this throw. Well, it's been an epic battle. Team Wellington went 1-0 ahead through Mason Smith. Hamilton Wanderers equalised shortly afterwards through Joshua Clarkin. Sam Mason Smith again put Team Wellington ahead just before half-time. Derek Tiku squared the ledger for Hamilton Wanderers, but the penalty from Sam Mason Smith now has Team Wellington 3-2 in front, needing only a draw, remember, to host a semi next week. So unless Hamilton Wanderers can find 2 goals in the remaining 3 or 4 minutes that we have, then they will be travelling back this way next weekend for a rematch with a place in the grand final on the line. We're going to have 5 extra minutes. So that gives Hamilton Wanderers a glimmer of hope. 5 extra minutes to be played at the end of this one in Wellington. Well, if you're Hamilton Wanderers, I think you probably take some confidence with you today, even though the result hasn't gone the way they wanted. They have, as I mentioned, twice come back from a goal behind to square things up. They believe the penalty was questionable, so there might be a bit of a discussion around that as well. But they will come back fizzing and firing. They'll have a couple of their players available. Again, you'd have to think next week, although they will be, we understand, without Augustine Contrati with his suspension. Really good play from Batchelor here. Cross to Caelan Gould. Harris Zeb! Good save, Oliver. Well, the substitutes combining there. Batchelor, Gould and Zeb. But Oliver was the equal of it. Mata with his umpteenth header of the afternoon. Semi inside to Signey. Sinclair goes to deck as he mops up. Back to Jones. No risks taken now by Team Wellington. Zeb over the top of a tiring Davidson. Gould says, go on Harris, keep going. Coming across though was Joe Harris on Harris Zeb, that is. And throw in the results. We've had 1.5 of the extra 5 minutes minimum that are going to be added. Here's Caelan Gould. He takes it into the corner this time. Davidson takes it off. Gould. Zeb is there. Hamilton Wanderers throw. Time very much the enemy now for the visitors. Team Wellington's fans are already planning next weekend. We don't yet know, of course, which day or at what time the semis will be. We know Auckland City will host one, and we're pretty close now to a time where Team Wellington will be confirmed to host the other. Sometimes it'll depend on travel and where teams can get to at what time and when they can get in and out. We'll wait until tomorrow probably to find out who the 4th semi-finalist is, unless Waitakere can beat Auckland this afternoon. This equation will go into the final game of the round robin tomorrow when Eastern Suburbs play Hawke's Bay United. Looks like we're going to have a shared golden boot as well, unless Derek Tiku can find a late goal here. He's peeled away from Mata, looking for a pass from Davidson at the moment, so still looking for a third goal, Derek Tiku. Midgley is there ahead of him and saves it from going behind for a corner. In fact, keeps possession. Given away, though, by Zeb. Davidson looking for Tiku. Gets a second bite at it, Adam Davidson. Into Tiku. Slides it to Signey, but doesn't find him. Still there for Whitworth. Still there for Tiku. Taken away by White. And competent defending there by Team Wellington. 90 seconds to hold out. And even if Hamilton Wanderers were to score now, you'd have to think there wouldn't be time for another one. Whitworth and Jacob Harris doing well at the back. Through it goes to Signey. His touch, though, is too heavy. McKeown calmly passes it away. 4 of the extra 5 minutes have gone. White is fouled. That'll soak up a few more seconds. Augustine Contrati, that's a really unfortunate storyline from today, and that he will, if our maths is correct, miss next week through an accumulation of yellow cards. Well, Team Wellington said before the game today they didn't want to say goodbye to David Farrington Park just yet. This result today ensures that they will not have to. They'll have one more game here next weekend. If you're wondering about the grand final and where that will be, North Harbour Stadium is the venue regardless of the participants. Here's Harris Zeb into the area again. Harris Zeb, good tackle that time by Davidson. Wasn't giving away a second penalty. We've had just about the 5 minutes of extra time. Team Wellington book a home semi-final in the ISPS Handa Men's Premiership. They will host the same opposition next weekend. Hamilton Wanderers played their part today and valiantly searched for a result which would have seen them host next weekend. Not to be. They will finish third in this year's ISPS Handa Men's Premiership and will be back a week from now to face Team Wellington for a place in that grand final. What a game it's been. All sorts of talking points, some spectacular goals, equalisers and go-ahead goals to talk about, a penalty, a long-range speculator from Sam Mason-Smith, a goal on debut from Josh Clarkin, and Derek Tiku ensuring that he will have a share of the Golden Boot this season, scoring his 12th goal of the season. He and Hamish Watson, joint top goal scorers this season. They're shaking hands as I speak and probably discussing whether they get the opportunity to add the goals on from the semis and the final. Unfortunately, not to be. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a great pleasure to bring you this pulsating game from David Farrington Park, which has ended with victory for the home side, courtesy of a Sam Mason-Smith hat-trick. Full-time here at David Farrington Park. Team Wellington 3, Hamilton Wanderers 2.